Can your business be successful without having a plan and without doing any planning? Absolutely. Can your business be profitable? Can it make money for you, your team, your stakeholders, if it doesn't have a plan or there's no planning involved? Absolutely. What's the likelihood of you being able to achieve those goals, to achieve the maximum amount of impact, and being able to generate surpluses for your organization, profits, without a plan, without planning? Well, the likelihood of doing it in the way that you want to, mitigating the risk, doing it successfully with very minimal strain, is going to be less likely if you do not have a plan and you don't have a planning mindset. Would I recommend organizations, whether they are theatre organizations, arts, private companies, manufacturing companies, solopreneurs, side hustlers, whatever you want to call them, would I recommend going into a business venture, growing their businesses without a plan? Absolutely not. To do so, in my opinion, is reckless, foolhardy, unnecessary strain, unnecessary stress, and also very financially impactful on the downside if you don't have one. And in this video, I'm going to go through some of the key elements and key points as to why a planning mindset and having a plan is not only a good thing to have, it's absolutely vital, it's absolutely critical. Now, the idea of planning is where you look forwards. Now, it's not always about looking forwards here. You need to have some connection, some understanding of what's gone before. If we think about anything that we do in our lives, if we want to get to a point that we define as an end point, if we want to achieve what we might call successful, and the success is our own measure of success, not somebody else's, you're going to have some understanding about the historical perspective that we're operating from, what's happened in the past when we've undertaken a similar journey, or things that have had similar characteristics. What mistakes did we make? Where are we now? What is our situation in our business? What's our position? Where's our financial strength and financial weaknesses? What opportunities are we going to be exploring? Understanding how our customers behave, what they buy from us, how much we make from that is absolutely critical to feed into that planning horizon. The planning mindset doesn't slavishly look forwards here, but it considers the future more than it considers the past. Now, for me, the key benefits, and I used plural there, about planning is it reduces the risk. It reduces the likelihood of things going pear-shaped. It reduces the likelihood of losing money, and it reduces the likelihood of going down a particular path in our business, which proves to be very counterproductive and very financially crippling as well. What else does it do? Well, it enables us to marshal our thoughts, to focus and to think clearly about the end destination we wish to get to, say typically over a 3-year horizon. We typically plan in 3-year cycles, and certainly that's what I would recommend. And then we look at the budgets for the next 12 months as a footprint, as an advancement towards that end objective. Now, having a decision about what we do over the next, say, 12 months makes us consider and focus more clearly. It makes us consider if we have got adequate resources, both cash, personnel, skills, technology and ability. It makes us think about what we need to make that happen. The translation into a cash flow forecast tells us where those challenges will be over the next 12 months. By the very fact of doing a plan, we communicate that with our team, we communicate that with the appropriate stakeholders that are going to be involved. Having a plan means that we coordinate the different functions in our business. So for that activity to come to life, for it to work and to function, we've got to be all working collectively as a team. What else does it do? Well, the whole purpose of planning, and I always start with the end first and then work backwards, is we can define the activities that we need to do in order to progress to get to that end point. We can also define what those milestones should be that we're going to be able to monitor and keep an eye on. What are the key outcomes, the KPIs that we should have to help us monitor our progress and react when things aren't going too well, and also react when things are going better than we expected. And that will happen to you. Are there any other benefits in terms of planning? Well, we've got a whole bunch there, but let's think now about this idea of plan. A lot of people, when they think about a plan for a business, they think of a document that is a straitjacket. The plan is effectively you marshalling your thoughts, putting it into a document that you can share with others. You look at yourself. It's an accountability document and it's an accountability tool to make sure that you can measure your progress as you go towards that end goal, that end objective. That plan can be in digital format on a spreadsheet. It could be a paper format, whatever you prefer. My personal preference is online tools such as BudgetWiz. Please check out the show notes for a further link in there where you can plan, and you can also make sure that talks to your accounting system to help you measure that financial progress. So folks, I hope that's given you a flavour about the benefits to me about planning and having a plan. By all means, I've seen businesses that get to where they want to. It takes them much longer. They tend to lose more money. They tend to have greater risk, and you can get there by default. To me, that's management by being reactive as opposed to managing by being proactive. Hope you got some thoughts from there. I'd love it if you could share it with those who you feel would benefit. Until next time, folks, get those planning hats on and start thinking about your future. And in future episodes, we're going to expand on some of the themes here and share the toolkit with you that you can use in your future endeavours.